Hello again, YouTube. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. And listen, this is part one. We're going to talk about slavery, what really happened. Based on my research. And some of it, disclaimer, some of it is just up for interpretation. But I'm going to show you some of the visions that I had when I was seeking answers about the slavery thing, and you can take that part how you want to take it, but the majority of what I'm gonna say is actually factual information that can be researched, that you can find. So what really happened with slavery? Were they captured and hunted down? Some of them, for different reasons. It was wars between tribes. Then here's the part that y'all don't know. The Most High showed me, and that I was able kind of to uncover with research. The natives that were already here, most of them were our ancestors. Some of them were the ancestors of what we call the Latinos. Now, some of them had some type of deal with the white settlers that were trying to take over this country, for one. That's number one. And then here's a tidbit of information from you that you can research for yourself. Before Christopher Columbus ever set sail on North America, there were 29 documented groups of people already here. Look it up. All you got to do is Google what people were in the North Americas before Christopher Columbus. So they had some kind of deal where they took them over there with them. And that's how they were able to capture some of them that they brought back. Some of the people, it was some kind of bribe. It was some kind of deal that turned out to be fraud, turned out to be a lie. Because you got to realize this, that a lot of our ancestors were chiefs, were warriors. We were organized. We weren't like this stuff we see now. So some of them were forced. A lot of the people that were forced were war criminals between tribes, prisoners of war. And some of them had been diagnosed with something by their village. So, people was wandering off, getting caught. People was getting caught, how ransom, so to speak, we'll just say. And so they were sold into it as well. But the number that came over here that I was able to even find, I'm like how many of them were they transporting? Less than 5%. Most of the people that were enslaved were already here. They had already set sail on their own because they had beliefs that the Americas were a land flowing with milk and honey. And some of their other beliefs, they knew that they can harvest this land and produce tremendous crops. And so a lot of them were setting sail on their own. And they came over here and they just started living life. So Some of them, just like today, you have traders today. Some of them were helping them enslave other natives. Yeah, they was going over there to Africa. But most of that stuff was happening here. Because a lot of them had come here. See, I don't know exactly how the landscape was in the 1800s. But however it was easier to travel back and forth. We don't know. We just go by the maps they have now. Like they show us some accuracy in the maps, but you know them. They not gonna show you everything of how something was. And so most of the slaves were natives that were captured and enslaved. The first farmers in the United States. Let's go here. A lot of white people talk about go back to Africa, but a lot of them, they got more people that's not from the North Americas than we do. Most of our ancestors are from the North America. A lot of our recent, like going back to great-great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, they were, most of them, not all, but most of them were in the North Americas. Then you had some, I told you, traveling was probably easier. So you had some that went to Britain. That's how a lot of us got there. And they became, like some of them, when all of this was going down, they became indentured servants. Because slavery and being an indentured servant aren't much different. But slavery was more violent. Because they were forcing them. See, indentured servant, they were getting paid. Like indentured servants today, and everybody is working a little bit, but the main indentured servants is people like Anton Daniels, people like King Riches. Why am I saying them? Because the indentured servant, that was more of an attitude. They were working, but it was the attitude behind some of the things that they were doing if you do your own research. It's kind of like what we see today. We see rappers, we see athletes, big, strong athletes walking around with dresses on. We see rappers talk about, I got ops, I'm gonna do this to my ops. All that's indentured servant to the cotton. Symbolically, the cotton is what they produce to stay on top. So they still got black people picking cotton. It's just some of them are picking cotton with a microphone. Some of them are picking cotton with a basketball. Some of them are picking cotton with their smartphone. They still picking cotton. So again, first point I want to make is that a lot of them were already here. They don't want you to know that, but even if you look at the cartoons, go watch that video I made. They knew that. Look how they had the natives looking. They knew that. But see, over time, they want us to believe that we just came from Africa, all of us. Hardly none of us, our direct ancestors, going back 4 generations, were not from Africa. They were from here. Even going back to like the 1600s, they were already here. But one reason why Winchester, I didn't watch the movie. I need to watch it. But I did a little digging like I normally do. Winchester, she couldn't sleep at night because her family was making the guns that they were using against the natives. And that they were using to do fraudulent things. And the Most High was judging her Like, it was that bad. So the Most High was judging her, wouldn't even barely let her sleep at night. She was practically going crazy. Because her family knew how to make guns, and they were making the guns that they were using to hunt down the natives. So slavery was mainly work, forced labor. A lot of them wouldn't do it because they knew that they were free and they could produce the same things and trade amongst each other. But then when this new group of settlers come in, they came in, they didn't know how to farm, which was like, they were the main real immigrants. They didn't know how to farm, they didn't know how to do anything. So you had a couple of them that were nice enough to teach them. But then not enough of them were willing to teach them. So they start attacking them and making them teach. They start attacking them, kidnapping them, holding them hostage. Look, you gonna do this work. Stealing their lands. Cause like originally the natives, like they had wars and stuff, but most of their wars was if you cross somebody's land. If you tried to do this or that. Like kind of like the perverted way how people fight over turf now. They fought over turf, soil. So they come in, because remember, when they first got here, they was eating, they was so hungry, so destitute. They were like eating each other, like they were attacking little kids. There's documented evidence of this. Like, remember the movie Night of the, what was it? Was it Night of the Living Dead or Night of the Creeps? One of them. The zombie movies from the 80s where they was brains. That was really happening. They put that in our face because they knew that most of us didn't know that was really happening. They were attacking kids. Like, the parents would die of sickness or starvation. The kids would still be alive, but nobody to protect them. And a lot of these guys, they were like zombies. So they were attacking the kids and eating their brains. This ain't nothing I'm making. Now this is researchable information. They even have a little girl's remains in the museum that somebody hit her in the head with an axe, cut her head open and ate her brain. That's what was going on when they first got here. When these people like Nick, and now one of his sides, I believe he's just trying to go with, he's probably mixed. So he's trying to go for his German side or Italian or something like that. Because remember, we ain't gonna talk too much about Rome, but do your research on Rome. They was never really like an ally like that with our ancestors. That's just the truth. So it was work. A lot of them was already here. Some of them got brought over here. Some of them got sold into it. But the ones that was here that was captured and the ones that was brought over here that was captured, they both were put on the auction block. That's real. That's real. So a lot of the chiefs were very resistant. They were resistant. This is where the buck dancing and the buck breaking, all that stuff come in. This is where some of the things that go on in prison, this not nothing new. This happened long ago. So when the chiefs were more resistant, they brutalized them actually and made them dance. They made them dance. Now, they had a custom, some tribes, that you want to preserve your generations. That's why some of them put up with it. Some of them like, forget this, skip this. Different things. They were boiling them in pots of water. That's where that comes from in the cartoons. Some of them died from whippings that they took, where they were whipped so bad that their guts were hanging out and they bled out. Now, Roots was plagiarized, but Roots, I don't look at it that way, because Roots basically gave us a visionary of what was going on. It wasn't the actual, like 100%, but it gave us just a visionary of some of the things that were going on. And he did get it from another book, and I'm sure that other person got it from research. So it don't matter that it was like dude came on there and told me it's just a movie, bro. No movie is just a movie to me, because my eyes are open. Like I saw on Transformers, did they right before that thing happened in Aurora, Colorado? If you watch that one Transformers movie, I forgot which one it was, the sign fell when they were having a thing going on the freeway, and it said Aurora. Next thing we know, the movie theater was shot up there. Go figure. Just like on The Dark Knight, you look on the side of the bus, it said Sandy Hook. But who's keeping score? That's kind of off subject. So we're gonna wrap this up in a few minutes. This is part one, though. So they were auctioned, they were captured, they were forced. A lot of them were forced to teach them how to farm. That was some of their job. All the slaves didn't pick cotton. They had different jobs. Some of them were forced to teach them how to farm. And now today, we barely have any farms. But they want to downplay. They want to act like we the worst. Take away the movies. Take away a lot of the music. Take away a lot of the bad influences that we see that we don't produce. And tell me, will we be as bad if that stuff wasn't in our mind? I could rest my case with that. So basically, they pretty much ran the North Americas. South America, this is why you got to understand. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit in the next one. Like, it's too much to cover in this one. Our ancestors and the Latino ancestors they had they run-ins with each other, but they were not at war all the time with each other. They actually formed certain tribes to fight against what was taking place. But, we're going to cover all that in the next couple to come. So they made the dance. They were raping the chiefs. They were making some of the chiefs cross-dress for humor. And for some of them, that's actually what they like. Where y'all think this stuff coming from, man? See, I'm going to get into this, but I got to even watch how I get into this, because this type of information is dangerous, man. Like, they just want you to be at the bottom. They don't want you to unite black people. They don't want you to inform them too much. They just want you to, why you think they shadow banned my video? Got these dudes thinking they better creators than me. I might not know how to edit, but I know how to talk. And I'm smart, and I know about a lot of stuff. I might not be the best editor, but I know what I'm talking about, though. So we're going to pick back up. We got to get into this Sunday sermon, which is kind of about what we're talking about right now. We're going to stay on this for a little while, off and on, through these weeks to come. Because y'all be exalting people just because of money. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop. Like I told you, when I was on Anti Hills in his comments, and he probably deleted the live chat. I don't know. Can you delete the live chat? He was trying to show money and all that. Dude, I'm going to tell you, man. If you watching, I don't care about that. That don't make you nobody. That just means you can buy more things. There's a lot of the evilest people in the world, if that's a word, evilest. That's my word. That got money. Remember the rich man and Lazarus? The rich man had money. Did his money impress God? Obviously not. He didn't make it to heaven. But thanks for watching. Keep tuning in. We got Sunday sermon coming up. This is The Truth Man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.